Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm here to talk to you about Birds of Prey. In this review I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film and whether or not you guys should go and see it. So I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler free. However, if you don't know anything about the film and you want to go in completely blind, then it's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started, shall we?
Oh, you're that psycho chick. I never call a woman a chick. I'll accept broad, lady, woman, and on occasion, bitch. Bitch? What are you talking about? That for me, will you?
So Birds of Prey sees Margot Robbie reprise her role as Harley Quinn. In Birds of Prey, Harley and the Joker have recently broke up, and now Harley Quinn must join together with a group of other women to save this young girl from a criminal overlord. And so we have Birds of Prey. So going into this one, guys, I didn't really know whether I was going to really enjoy this one, because if it was going to be in the same vein as Suicide Squad, immediately this movie was going to suck. And while this movie does bring over some themes from Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey is a wholly different movie. Because I'd say it's the right blend of kooky, crazy, goofy, colourful comic book movie that it really makes it work for this one. Because the reason this format didn't necessarily work for Suicide Squad is because originally the movie was marketed to be this anti-Marvel movie. It was going to be dark and gritty. And you know what? It was going to be something like this.
Are you the devil?
All you need to know is you work for me.
But in the end, after a bit of reshooting, rewriting, and remarketing, the movie ended up like this.
What you gonna do? You wanna see something? Yo, y'all wanna see something? Yes, I wanna see something!
And Suicide Squad never really managed to find the right tone, or any kind of consistent tone for that matter. And honestly, I've come to the realization that Suicide Squad is pretty much the same as Cats. It spends most of the movie introducing us to a bunch of characters, and then a little under halfway it decides to have a plot. And even then the plot's paper thin and nonsensical. And with Birds of Prey, though the story at times can come across as quite jumbled, it does stick to one consistent theme. So again, Margot Robbie is really good as Harley Quinn. Though honestly, I do think that Margot Robbie still has a lot more to give as Harley Quinn, because I don't really think she's found the perfect blend just yet. Though I'd still always look forward to seeing Margot Robbie play Harley Quinn and try and find something new out about her. But as of right now, I still feel she's in the learning stage with the character, and hasn't quite yet made the character amazing. And all the other cast members are fine as well. Though I'd say the character who seems to contribute the least to the story is Huntress. Don't get me wrong, I really like the character Huntress. I absolutely loved her in the Justice League cartoon. However, in this one, it feels like she's kind of tacked on at the last minute, because of all of them, she seems to have the least to do with the actual plot. She just kind of does a couple of things towards the start, and then she kind of just turns up in the last act, and she barely has any interaction with any of the other characters, or really affects anything that they do. But still, it was good to see Huntress on the big screen finally. And honestly, with the other characters, there's not really all that much to them to warrant talking about them. They were definitely good in the movie, and they all really worked well together. Though, I was kind of hoping they'd just do a bit more, or have a bit more outlandish costumes or something like that. Because this movie is setting itself up to be a bit crazy, a bit kooky, and kind of lean towards a bit more of the artsy style of the comic books. And it's just a shame this movie couldn't reflect that in the costumes that they had. Because this is the movie where they could be running around in the comic book accurate costumes, or at least close to it anyway. But instead they go for a bit more of a realistic look. But ultimately, the character I'd say I was most disappointed with, not necessarily in their performance, but just how they looked really, was Victor Zsasz. Because in the comic books, you know, he looks like this. That's an intimidating character. It says a lot about who he is. And in this movie, he just kind of looks like this, and honestly I thought that was a very lazy design choice. And the character couldn't really compensate with any kind of solid, in-depth performance. So in the end, you just get a paper-thin Zsasz that you don't really get to explore at all. Though I must say, I did like Ewan McGregor's villainous turn as Black Mask. Sure, he's a bit cheesy, sure he's a bit campy and kooky and everything like that, but it really works for this movie. And in the scenes where he's trying to be intimidating and kind of put people at unease, he definitely does nail that. There's this one scene in particular where honestly he does have you on the edge of your seat and you kind of wonder what he's going to do next. Sure, he's not going to really make the list of best villainous performances in a comic book movie, but you know what, I did like him, and I do like Ewan McGregor. Though I'd say ultimately the thing that stopped this movie from being completely kind of average was the action, because I was quite shocked how well the action was done in this movie. I'm not sure how many stunt doubles they used or whether the actresses actually did all their own stunts, but the action was definitely top-notch in this one. You could definitely see everything that's going on. It was entertaining, it was well performed, it was well shot, and it was just really good to watch. I thought the action was probably going to be one of the weakest points of this movie, but instead it ended up being one of its strongest points. Though I must say that this movie does feel one of the most detached movies from the DCEU, because I do like that the DCEU is kind of taking a break from connecting all these movies together, because they really rushed out their big ensemble Justice League movie. So now, it is good that the DCEU are kind of slowing down and trying to figure out naturally when they should bring all these characters together again. And honestly, even if we have to wait another 3, 5, or even 7 to 10 years before all these characters come together again, then I'm all for it. If they want to tell these individual, in-depth stories, then by all means do that before you do an ensemble piece. Because honestly, it is going to be a long time before the DCEU takes over the MCU. But honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the DCEU has in the future for us. Because after Wonder Woman 1984, it's anyone's guess really. Overall guys, I quite liked Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie is really good as Harley Quinn, though I do think she has a lot more to give as the character. The action was really good, the comedy was fairly decent, and I did like the way this movie was presented. It made a lot more sense for this movie to be bright and colourful than it did for Suicide Squad. And honestly, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what Harley Quinn and her Birds of Prey have for us in the future. But now, as for Runner, you guys should go and see it. If you were looking for this movie to kind of advance the DCEU, then I'd say you'll be a little bit disappointed. Because like I've said, of all the DCEU movies, this one feels the most detached from it. However, if you're looking for a decent, self-contained story that's quite charming, quite colourful, and has decent action, then by all means, go see this one. Because you know what, I had a fairly decent time with it, though this movie isn't amazing. It is definitely, I'd say, worth a watch. Okay guys, that's my review of Birds of Prey. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And what's your favourite DCEU movie? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!